Hey y'all, we have no sun for some reason. I don't know what's going on, but we're back. It is a Sunday, and we are having another conversation from the soul, or a soul conversation, depending on how you want to say it. If you want to know why we're calling it that, it's because we are inside the wonderful Kia Soul Turbo. I forgot to say that yesterday. It is turbo, so it is like a sports car in a little bitty package, reflective of my personality, I would say, right? Yes? Okay. So we have a couple of things that we want to talk about today. Yesterday, you all know that we spoke about the marriage conference that we went to and had a blast in.
Great time.
And
Great time. Love it.
Came back all giggly and everything. So I want to talk to you about things that we women do in the name of style that we should just stop doing, but I can understand why they do it. And then we are going to get a bit serious and talk about how sometimes it's scary to be out here driving for some of us. Some of us have a harder time driving than others, and it's a very serious conversation, and I know one that a lot of people don't understand, and their lack of understanding also makes them seem like they have a lack of sympathy or empathy for the situation, instead of understanding that sometimes your breath gets caught. And your heart is pounding and all of that other stuff. Even though in the back of your head you know you haven't done anything wrong, or didn't purposely. I'll say it that way. You didn't purposely do anything wrong, but you know.
So what's your funny thing?
My funny thing is, we were in Target yesterday, which happens to be the bane of Mr. Houseful's existence. He does not like the Target.
It's not just that. It's not that I don't like Target.
You don't like who I become when I go into Target?
Exactly. That's perfect. Perfect. And it's not just Target, though. It's like any store.
Well, no, I don't become a different person in Walmart.
You don't become the Target person. Well, that is true.
I don't become a different person in Walmart.
You become a different person.
I become a different person in Target, and Joann Fabrics, and Michael's Crafts. And yeah,
grocery stores. There
are certain grocery stores that I don't like going into.
And the ones that she does like going into, it's as bad. I do not like to window shop. I don't like doing it. It stinks.
I don't understand how you window shop at a grocery store, though.
Ooh, that'd be nice. I'll make that one day. And you go around and go, I wonder if I can make a recipe with it. Just go in and get what we eating sloppy joes for dinner. There's no reason that should take an hour. But, it's therapeutic for some people. I get it. It's not for me. And so Target becomes that for her. Ooh, look at this. Are we going to buy it? No. Then why are we looking at it? And so that's what
because it's pretty.
See? And so I've learned to I've learned to live with.
And it makes me smile.
It does. And I've learned to live with some of that. And as at some point I'll say to you, I'll wait in the car. You take as much time as you want. I won't call her. She could be in there an hour and a half. I won't call. I'll be in the parking lot.
That is true.
And it's cool because I realize you need this more than I do.
But if you're out in the car with me, if you're out and about with me, I want you to come in. Because I need you to tell me how I look.
Hey, Auntie.
I need you to tell me how I look. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Ro. Yeah, he's learning how to do those comments. Yeah. Hey, Clarissa, how are you?
All right.
We're talking about funny things. We're balancing soul convos today.
Yeah. So what's the funny thing?
With a bit of serious and a bit of funny. So I dragged him into the intimate section of Target, where they sell all the bras and the underwear and the stockings and the socks, and I had to stop because they have a setting of or display where you get 5 pairs of underwear for $20.
Also, I'd just like to say, so, here's what I didn't realize. I don't think I noticed it, and I don't think this is new. I just don't think I noticed it. So I understand why bras are out on display, and maybe even like slips and things like that. I get it. That makes sense to me. I didn't realize panties were just loose.
Well, it's a different type of so you have hipster, because you want to mix and match.
Okay.
So you want hipster, you want boy shorts, you want briefs. Those of you who can still do thongs, you may want those. They have what do you call them? The microfiber, the ones that feel like they're a material. There's a material that feels like you clean your glasses with it.
It feels weird.
And then the satiny ones, and then the lace ones, and all of that other stuff.
Which I still don't understand.
Right. You want to mix and match, right? You want 5 different pairs of underwear. You don't want them all to be the same cut or the same type of color or anything. You want to be able to pick and choose what you want.
I just didn't expect it to be just loose.
So he was helping me out because we did not take a cart. And when you don't take a cart in the Target, that's when you're going to look the most ridiculous because, you start gathering stuff. So he was on his phone as I'm looking through the display, and I'm giving him underwear, and he's putting them on his shoulder. And he wouldn't move with me. So I moved to another display. He's sitting there with underwear on his shoulder, looking at his phone,
surrounded by panties and bras.
And people are walking through. Women are walking through, and they're looking at my husband like he's a creeper. So I had to call him. I had to call him back in and let him know. Call him back to attention to let him know that he needed to move with me. He needed to move as I was moving, so that nobody called Target security on him and said that they had a panty sniffer. Normally now, listen, the running joke in our house is I have like 5,000 pairs of underwear.
Yes.
Because when I go, I typically, every time I travel, I get a new pack of underwear. But this was the first time, I think, in marriage. Yeah. The first time since we've been married where I've done the 5 for 20. Where I go and mix and match. And because we were at a marriage conference and I was feeling spicy. That's what we did. But that wasn't the reason. That's what caught my attention, and it was like squirrel. So I went and got that. So we got 5 pairs of underwear, and they're wonderful. You should go to Target and do that. Not sponsored. And then I had to get stockings. So let me give you background on me and stockings. Too long, you don't want to hear. I hate them. Because they bite at your thighs, and it's a struggle to get on, and they're hot, and they're hot, and they're hot. And I don't like being hot.
Now, coming from being a man and never having worn stockings or what pantyhose, why are they hot? Because they seem paper thin.
They're not paper thin. They're. You remember when you played football? Did you have to wear compression shorts at all?
You mean like jockstrap?
If I meant jockstrap, I would have said jockstrap.
Yeah.
I said compression shorts.
No.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
What about the long pants? What about the long pants that you wore?
If you're trying to give a comparison of whether or not the football uniform is hot, I don't know if I noticed until after you start sweating. Shoulder pads for sure, but I don't know about the pants.
So have you ever noticed in church or the places where people are in stockings that they're always pulling and tugging?
They're confining. Okay, yeah, all right.
They're always tugging because it's just an extra layer. Yeah. It's an extra layer on you.
No, I get that part. I just didn't understand
and
how
then they're stupid because they run and
easily.
And they cost a stupid amount of money now.
That was the thing that surprised me. So as a kid, my mom would run into Walgreens real quick and go get me, whatever, blah, blah, coffee, this, and then I go in and it's like $2, $3. We go to Target. I don't think it's just Target, but we go in the store and I can't find a pair that's cheaper than $9. How is that possible?
So this is also
what the old people call nylons.
This is also a reason why I leave him at home. So he is not aware.
She said what she said. Yeah, okay.
So he's not aware of how much things cost. I did not pay attention to the fine print on the stockings, and I thought that I was just getting control top stockings. And I went to put my stockings on this morning, and my husband was looking at me putting my stockings on, And number one, I want to let you all know that he didn't even try to help me when he saw me struggling.
I had faith in your ability.
All he did was sit and look at me as if I was on display, and I was performing some sort of circus trick for him, because when I flipped the package over, I realized that I had gotten cellulite reducing stockings, and the squeeze into them this morning was absolutely real.
Get your workout for the day.
And I think I did break out into a sweat. I know that I was panting after I put them on, because I have to put my dress on and then I put my stockings on, because there's something about putting stockings on and then being in your underclothes that reminds me too much of Sunday mornings growing up back when I was younger, because you'd have the slip and your stockings on, and I didn't want to do that, so I put my dress on and the stockings, and they fit. But it was just really hard getting them up, and it was because they were cellulite reducing. So it feels really good, and my legs look really good, and I have no cellulite. It's amazing.
I will say that you don't wear stockings often. I guess that's something.
No, I don't.
Probably say.
No, they know.
Yeah, my wife barely wears stockings. I will say there is something really sexy about seeing you in heels, stocking leg, in the edge of your skirt or dress. So what you trying to say? So I'm older? I get it. I'm sorry, Auntie. But there is something really, you don't realize until you see it again. It's kind of, it's a little sexy. When just that
dynamic.
Yeah, I was gonna say silhouette, but I don't think that's the right word.
But they have to be the right type of stockings.
It's the like, side profile, though. It's side profile.
Don't wear black stockings and white shoes.
Hip, butt, like stocking leg, shoe, heel, like that. There's something about that. It's like, good job.
So I did a good job today.
Good job.
I did a good job today, and I'm not even in stilettos, y'all. I'm in sensible.
And they comfortable,
shoes. I'm in Clarks, and they are black mama shoes. Like, you look at them, they have the snub toe, and I can walk in them and stay in them, and yes, a man would say that, because right. And another funny thing today is, since we're on the subject, I am prone to take my heels off and change into some flats as soon as I get out of wherever we've attended, and he just does not like that.
That's not particularly.
Oh, he doesn't like me to change into ugly flats.
That's not it, right? Okay, so here's the deal. My wife knows I am a leg man. I legs, that's my thing, right?
Wait, tell him the leg issue that I have.
Oh, that's an issue? Oh, that's a plus. So the first thing I noticed about my wife when we were kids, when she was way back when she was 13, she's bow-legged, and that was it. I was checking out every day.
I don't know how, because my skirts came down to my ankles.
Oh, you can tell that gape. That gape. Woo! Let me tell you. So anyway, when we were kids, she wasn't wearing heels, right? You had them patent leathers.
Shut up.
Them patent leathers.
My Batman shoes.
Hot today, every outfit. Anyway, she got a little older. She started wearing heels, and that accentuates the calf, and so the legs look even better. And I'm like, oh my God. And so she knows that when she has on heels, that I'm like, yes.
And I can get anything I want.
You doing, hey, babe, you good, right? What she likes to do is she'll have the shoes on, wear my flats, get in church, because generally that's when we're wearing heels, and then take off the heels and have the flats on for the rest of the day. And it's like, okay, church over. I want to see what I want to see.
I want to be able to think
like you were comfortable in church. You want to walk around, do your thing.
I mean, because you were thinking about God in church.
Yeah, okay. And then afterwards, I'm like, I want to think about you.
And you want to think about God's gifts when we get out of church.
Come on now.
Yes, that's what we want to do, right?
And so, but then you won't put the heels back on. oh, they hurt my feet. And then I go, but why don't you wear the ones that don't hurt your feet? Now, I realize that's selfish. I get it. I'm being selfish. But, okay, I like what I like. I like you in heels. And I like it when you keep them on enough for me to open the door for you and then watch you walk in front of me. And just catch a peek, because I can. Because it's a little too much information.
Because it's legal now.
Yeah, okay.
It's legal now.
All
okay.
Right.
So now that we've given you, I might do a heel challenge. Be
careful what you say now.
We might do a heel challenge.
It's recorded, man.
If we can't find this video after today, it is due to technological difficulties. We may do a heel hair makeup challenge where I go full Monty on you.
All right.
And then maybe I'll get a camera lens. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Oh wait, possibly.
No, I'm not doing that. No.
So we want to go a little bit serious, and I don't want to go where we take the wind out of the sails because we're having a good conversation. But I want to talk a little bit about what it means to drive while black these days. If you all have been following me for a while, you know that we do a lot of car reviews, and we work with a lot of car brands, or we have worked with a lot of car brands. And in each and every single case, when you see automotive journalists or car reviewers driving around, 9 times out of 10, they do not have a front plate because of photography. I mean, it's what it is about the industry. And, it is what it is. So we got pulled over yesterday coming home from the wonderful, wonderful marriage council conference that we attended. Mm-hmm. And it was two cops, and we had our twins in the back because we were picking them up from my aunt's house, and it was about 10:45 at night. Mm-hmm. And we're tired, we are full, and we just want to go home. That's all we want to do. And the entire interaction, because we knew we hadn't done anything wrong, should have been just easy, right? But it's not. These days, it is not easy to be pulled over and be a certain color. It's just not. And that's the way life is. We are fully aware that there are wonderful, wonderful police officers in this country. Fully aware of it. But we also need to acknowledge the fact that there are just some cops that enjoy the power that a badge gives to them. And they enjoy asserting that power when they feel that you are challenging them and challenging their authority. And this is one of those instances where I am glad that I followed my husband's calm demeanor, because I'm a little bit outspoken. I mean, I don't know if you all get that from me at all in these videos, but I'm a bit outspoken, and I'm very, very quick to let people know when they're doing me wrong, because I need you to know that. But the cop was not. He was not trying to be understanding at all.
I think so honesty, right? I don't even think, honestly, most of the police officers who do this thing know that that's what they're doing.
Oh, no, they don't. They don't. Well, most of them.
Yeah, I don't think most of them know that that's what they're doing. Which is why when we say, oh, it's the racial thing, that people know, because they don't think that what they're doing is motivated in that way. And
if you're not married to a black man, so this means not only black women, but anybody married to black men, know the feeling that happens when you are pulled over and they're in the driver's seat. Because you now have to make sure that everything, and it's 10:45 at night, so you can't see in our car at all. So we have to make sure that our hands are where they're supposed to be. I have to make sure that I'm not moving too quickly. When they ask for license and registration, you have to make very deliberate, slow movements to open up the glove compartment to let them know that you're not reaching for anything. We have a person who was just shot for a cell phone, mistaken as a gun. So we're making sure that we are doing everything that we need to do, but still letting the cop know we're not stupid. We're not stupid at all.
I think just to get into the mindset. So I am 38 years old now.
Are you?
I'm getting there. Hey, I'm 38 years old, almost 40. That still feels weird to say.
Does it?
It does. So I'm almost 40, and in my 38 years, I can count on 3 fingers the amount of positive interactions I've had with law enforcement.
And one of them was in Alabama.
That's true, surprisingly. So, humble brag, I am the nicest guy I know.
He is.
Humble brag, I'm the nicest guy I know. And I can count on 3 fingers the amount of positive interactions I've had with law enforcement. And I simply mean they just did their job. Wasn't anything behind it. No malice. No extra fishing. No demeaning behavior. No belittling, condescending language. None of that. It's three times. And again, one of them was in Alabama. I've been stopped so often, I'm already guarded. I don't pull the window down all the way anymore because that gives them a reason to fish. And so, again, I don't know if I have family with police officers. And
that sounded dangerously close to.
I have friends.
I have a friend who's black. I have a friend who's black.
My point simply is I respect the position. Is the point I was trying to make. That's true. That does sound bad. I'm sorry if that came out. But I respect the position, so I understand it's a difficult job. I know, but that doesn't mean that. So what happens? What goes to your head is the lights come on, your heart is beating through your chest, and the first thing you got to do is everything good? Because in my experience, and again, all those maybe 30 times I've been stopped or pulled over or something. Walking down the street, whatever it has been, and 3 of those altercations or interactions were positive. It has been my experience that it's not just the, hey, license registration, but it's all the extra conversation after that.
The best one was getting stopped on your way home from the corner store.
So when we lived on the west side, that's a good story. I would walk up the street to the store, get some groceries, get a couple bags, come back. I don't know how many times I was stopped.
And he was always dressed in dress slacks, a collared shirt, tie.
So that was once, and then another time I had a kind of jogging pants and like a windbreaker because I was just running up to get like some pop or something. I don't know, some chips. Anyway, so here's what the police officers do. The police officers will, hey, put your hands like you see them, all that stuff. You have to put the bags down. Hey, what are you doing in this neighborhood? You show them. I've been pulled over enough. I know my driver's license number by heart. And so, give them the information. I tell them, look, I'm not the guy you're looking for. You got the wrong guy. How do you know that? So I'm handcuffed on the side, and the guy's looking up the information. I already know he's not going to find anything. And once he realizes he can't find anything, and this is what happens. So this is the reason why the heart's pounding through the chest. Not the giving the license, right? It's the, I don't have anything because I pulled him over for no reason. I don't have anything on him. I pulled him over for no reason. Now I have to make something happen. This is the scary part. Because anything is a trigger, right? And that's the thing that's like, oh man. So while he's looking up the thing, another cop car comes and he's standing there with me while the police officer's in his vehicle. And I'm like, man, this is, it's crazy. This always happens. Look, man, I don't know who you're looking for. I'm not the guy. But the guy gets out and I said, I told you weren't going to find anything. Look, you see me, I got my receipts. I'm going home from the store, and the guy starts talking to me like I'm a monkey, and he's saying stuff like, so it'll be like, so just say something.
I can't because I'm so upset about it. I hate hearing this story.
No, this is amazing. So
I'm just trying to
go ahead, keep talking.
I just want to get home to my wife.
Wait, what? You trying to what?
That's all.
I can't hear you. And it's not the first time something like that has happened. But that's the one that was like, and so I even asked the guy, like, did they teach you this in the force? Like, you got the wrong guy. You're not going to get me. So what they want is me to get so frustrated. I'm already handcuffed. You want me to get so frustrated because you're taking my power away. You're emasculating me. You're condescending. You're taking away my authority over myself. And you want me to do that so that you have a reason to then go, oh, see, you were doing this thing. So now you get hacked. Now that's it. So now I got you on something. And the thing that scares me the most, so back in the day, it was just, the thing that would scare me is, I'd be Rodney King, right? They'll find a reason. He's reaching for pop, get beat up, and then it's their word against mine. Fast forward, it's man, they taking the guns out now. It's not the Billy Club anymore. It used to just be, they take out the wand and smack you across the face. Now they're taking out the gun and it's like, hey, who knew he was reaching for my weapon? And that's freaking me out now. The scariest story for me is Sandra Bland, because, and again, anybody who's any African-American or minority, Native Americans deal with this a lot. And especially Latin American males, for sure, deal with this a lot. Obviously, African American males. The Sandra Bland story is scary to me, and I told my wife this because the officer was so nice the first half of the interaction. He was so nice. He was respectful. He was soft-spoken. Everything was good. He goes back to the car and realizes when he runs the plate, so what they do is they're looking for something. Anything. You got this thing on your record, so they can make an excuse of why they, he pulled over, sure, she didn't change. That's a warning, right? Period. So he comes back, he can't find anything extra to sort of bolster his reasoning. And so when he gets back to the car, he has her license and whatever this written warning is in his hand. And he never gives it to her. And for 10 minutes, or 5 more minutes, he's got it in his hand, and he never gives it to her. And so he says, all right, ma'am, what did he say? He says something to her, and then he says, are you upset? And that's when I know he's fishing now. Now he's fishing. He wants to find, I got to do something to get you to do something so that I'm justified in this extra thing I want to do. And so he's got the stuff in his hand. He says, you look upset. Why are you upset? And she said, of course I'm upset. I mean, you did, but I was moving out of the way, but you going to give me a ticket anyway? Ma'am, calm down, or whatever he has to say to her. And then he says, can you put the cigarette out, ma'am? He still has it in his hand. The interaction is over. He's already written up the warrant. And then after he drags her out and they're tussling in the back, he's yelling that I was going to give you a warning. I'm thinking in my head, well, why didn't you give it to her? Just give it to her. You already had it. And so now that scares me so much because now every interaction is potentially a bigger thing. And so my heart always pounding through your chest. They're going to say something or do something because they want me to say something and do something. And they're going to ask a question in a way that's going to cause me. And so I know the game. And so I answer flatly and I challenge things that don't make sense in a way that's respectful. I don't swear. I'm a soft-spoken guy. I am very calm.
Except for right now.
Am I talking like, I apologize. I'm passionate. I apologize. So I'm a soft-spoken guy and all of this stuff that I know to be true. And so they're going to get me on the stupidity stuff. And so what the guy did yesterday was he recognized I hadn't done anything wrong when he's running the license and the stuff. And then he writes up a moving violation. But because the issue is the front plate, there is no box on the moving violation for a front plate. So he writes it in. But not having a real plate has zero to do with the driver. It's the owner of the vehicle.
And the thing is, this is not uncommon.
No.
It's not an uncommon thing. It falls under a specialty vehicle. So nobody's at fault. Nobody's at fault. And when we let him know that it would be thrown out, he shrugged his shoulders.
Here's the thing. I said to him, so he showed the thing, and I'm looking at the ticket. I'm like, so if you ever got the parking ticket, there is a...
Anitra said, you yell it right.
I'm sorry. You can tell it bothers me. Normally, you get a parking ticket, especially in the city of Chicago. There's a box on the thing that says missing, plate or the expired tags or whatever, and so there's no box on this thing, and that's the first thing I noticed. Like, wait, why would you have to write this in? And so I said, he said you have to sign it. I'm like, I'm not signing. I'm just giving my life. I'm signing what? And so he said, you got to sign. I'm giving you a ticket. I said, ticket for what? He said, you're missing the plates. And so I said, did you run the plates? He said, yeah. And I said, who did come up as the owner? He said, the owner's name. And I started laughing. I'm like, it's going to get thrown out anyway. Why are you giving this to me?
And he
just did this.
And it's not.
So I want to make your life difficult, Mr. Stranger I don't know.
Just because I can.
Because I don't know.
And here's
and that's those are just the little stuff.
And here's what we want people to understand when we talk about this. We want our husbands and our sons and our fathers and our brothers and our nephews and our cousins and our friends from down the block and the next city over and the next state and the next country to come home. We want them to come home. And it's not even now where I have to worry about him when he leaves the house driving. I now have to worry that even the presence of me and his children aren't enough to have someone not act a fool. And the fact that anything could happen, and I could have been making a phone call to my parents and my in-laws to let them know that my husband was dead because we didn't have a front plate, and the police officer, instead of realizing why we didn't have the front plate, decided to make our lives difficult.
I think also it's important to recognize that each of these altercations or incidents that you see about and is a drop in the bucket of a very full bucket.
Right.
So, like I've said, I'm 38 years old. I've been stopped by the police over 30 times, and some of them legitimate. That's not really the. I'm not saying police shouldn't do their job. One time I was speeding. It makes sense. Actually, that was one good altercation. I was speeding. The guy was, matter of fact, he just did his job. Exactly, right? That should be the case. But that I can count on one hand where it wasn't just the thing that you were stopping me for, that you tried to do this other thing.
Well, the handcuff one was you fit the description of somebody who had just robbed one of the stores down the street.
Weird.
You're coming home in your work clothes with toilet tissue and whatever, and you're walking calmly, but you fit the description of somebody who had just it's basically a bunch of since I don't swear, I normally say bull dookie. And we just want to be heard, and we want to be acknowledged, and we want people to ask, are you okay?
Yeah, but what I want people to do is, when you see these things in the news and on social media as one-offs, they're not one-offs, though.
At all.
Right? This is another notch in the cop was being real jerky for no reason out of my entire life. This is add on to the thing. This happens more often than it does.
Think of it this way. When you have kids not doing what they're supposed to do, and how not that the cops are kids at all, but how pecking at something when something pecks at something,
ripping the scab off, and
it's at first it's a little indentation, and then if you peck long enough at it at the same spot, it starts getting larger and larger, and it ends up becoming very detrimental to whatever structure
Right.
it's going. And one of the questions I know that a lot of people, or the statements that a lot of people say things are, well, you know, black people don't care. It's not that we don't care. A lot of people have had their fight taken out of them. They're tired of telling people constantly that they're being badgered, or that they're, because one of several things are going to happen. You're going to question their education. You're going to question where they grew up. You're going to question if they have a dad or mom in the house. You're going to question if they did anything stupid while they were younger. You're going to question if they have 5 children, and, you know, they're on public aid, and, you know, they're working this stupid job, and pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and blah, 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 blah. Instead of just saying, hey, maybe we should just treat everybody in this country like they are all human beings. And that doesn't happen. And when we tell you, and normally on this page, I don't discuss such heavy topics, because I know how divisive they can be, and I know how cruel people on the internet can be, and I know how putting this out here, I'm putting myself and my husband now out in a way where people can come and start talking out the side of their necks, and I don't have to take it. Let's be honest. Because if you start doing stupid stuff, I'm just deleting you and banning you from the page. But I open myself up to opinions. But here's fact. It's a lot of emotional weight going on anytime we get behind the wheel of a car. Yeah. And we're fully insured. We are fully covered. Licenses are up to date.
Clean,
we've been driving. I've been driving since
before I was.
I've been driving legally since 16.
Drive me around.
Yeah, I was picking you up when we were.
That's right.
When we were dating. That is right. Yeah. Driving, and it's a lot. And I wasn't scared at 16 and 17 for my then boyfriend like I am now. We went to prom and he drove. I even if we got pulled over by the cops, our fear was if we get a ticket for speeding, our parents are going to be really mad. Yeah. It had nothing to do with the cops. It was our parents are going to be really disappointed in us getting a ticket. And now we get pulled over. I hope we make it home. I hope my children have parents, you know, to come through the door this evening, and I hope that I don't become a widow before 40. You know, that's what was going through my mind last night. And when I got in the house, all I could do was pace. And this is why it really, really, really is important for you to marry somebody who is not as fiery. Who doesn't match you on your emotional level. Like they need to balance you out, right? I was pacing, and my husband came through and he was like, "Come here. I need you. We had a good time. Right. We had a good time this weekend. I need you to remember the good time that we had, and don't let this officer ruin the good time that we had." And overall, that's the truth. That's the truth. But that was our run-in last night, and that's what we had to deal with. If you were on Instagram, I apologize for making you all worry the way that you did, because I woke up to a whole lot of inbox messages this morning. I appreciate each and every single one of you who was worried for our well-being and who checked on us, and I'm fine. I promise you I'm fine. I got teary-eyed because I hate the handcuff story. I hate it. It makes me... And it happened...
No, it's not the only one.
It happened... Right. That's the problem, too. Yeah. It happened before the twins were born. Yeah. So more than 8 years ago. And it still gets me.
In the grand scheme of things, this thing last night was small in comparison
Correct.
To other encounters
Correct.
I've had with police. Get that out there. This was mundane in comparison. It's still I just want to do something to poke at you. That's the frustrating part, and because that is not new and it's happened so many times before, it just becomes another thing where it's like, here we go again. Now I got to figure out how to fight a thing I shouldn't have got in the first place.
And we have to take time out of our day where we could have been kissing and necking and making out and all of that other stuff.
But I think it is important that I have been through this, and I'm glad I have a wife who was that concerned. I'm glad he didn't kick it up a notch and ask me to step out of the vehicle, because I was fully expecting that, and he didn't, so that made it even better. But a wife that is concerned enough to really worry, but also that, because I've been through this, I can sort of calm her fears and sort of dissuade any additional, like, oh, what could have, because that is handcuffing.
Because the temple's got to working.
Yeah, that what could have happened, and because this shouldn't have, all of these other possibilities are on the table. And sort of bring that back down and say, it didn't, we're good, everything's fine, this is a small issue, we can fix this. And so we didn't mean to bring it down.
And then I watched Murder, She Wrote, and we watched J.B. Fletcher solve
true.
solve crimes.
That is
and
true.
it was a
not
good
my
night.
show, but she really likes it.
It was a good night.
It turned out to be a good night.
We still salvaged
Yeah.
the weekend, and we still know that we are the bomb couple. Like, we are a magnificent team. Team Nicholes is amazing. It's amazing. And yeah, I wanna just remind you, don't buy cellulite reducing stockings if you don't want to struggle.
And
like you're going to
men don't lurk in the lingerie undergarment section of Target stores.
And be careful when you're driving.
We
We love you all. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you all later.